I don't even have to imagine these teens. I've seen them in action. They are not super teens with superpowers. They are everyday teens doing super things. We met with Gavin and Huda a couple of episodes ago, a junior and senior making the most of a flexible learning plan. Today, we're going to talk to some even younger high school students who are forging the same path of self determined learning. Good afternoon, you guys, and thanks so much for joining. I'm so excited to hear your stories. I've heard great things about you from other folks in our organization, and I was hoping you could just start by introducing yourself, what grade you're in, and how long you've been with Dimensions. Amelia?
Hi, I'm Amelia McKnight. I've been with Dimensions for about 4 or 5 years, and I'm currently in ninth grade.
All right, and Finn?
My name is Finn McElwer. I'm in 10th grade. This is my fourth year.
Okay, and Izzy?
Hi, my name is Isabella Perez, or Izzy. I am in 10th grade, and I've been in Dimensions since I was in kindergarten, which is 10 years.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we have some veteran folks here. Great. Well, so the reason that your names came up to me is because you guys have done some volunteer work or some internships. And let's start with that. Tell me what kinds of things you've been doing out in the community. Who wants to go first?
I can go.
Alrighty.
So I've been volunteering at a nonprofit business called Olivewood Gardens, and I've helped serve the community there by helping giving what the community needs, like building benches around the neighborhood that's around Olivewood Garden and cooking and let's see, what else have I done? Just whatever the community has asked for, I've helped serve them, basically.
Great. And now Olivewood Gardens, that is kind of a farm to table organization. Is that correct?
Yes.
How would you describe it? What are the things that they do there?
I've been told that their farm is at least 8 acres and they produce all of their fruits and vegetables and they create homemade meals and then they hand them out to the community.
That's wonderful. So now I see why you're saying you're helping the community. So you're not just helping Olivewood Gardens, you are helping the bigger community. That's great. All right. Amelia, what have you been working on?
Earlier in the year, it was a type of internship, and it was basically a class where we learned what the computer science type of coding related to the military to try and get young girls excited and into that type of job. Whereas like right now, we don't have as many women in that industry. So it was really trying to promote leadership spots for women and young girls.
And that's the CompuGirls Cyber Warriors camp?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And what did you learn there? What did you like about that?
I learned how to code, which previously I had no idea how to code, and I learned I was pretty good at it. And I think it also really expanded my horizons on what that job is for me and the ability to apply that to future jobs if that's really what I want to do.
Yeah. So you said you didn't know how to code. What drew you to that internship then? Did you want to learn or?
Really just the opportunity. I mean, I'm the type of person who really thinks that if an opportunity comes your way, you should take it, even if it's something that doesn't really interest you. And in this case, I mean, computers aren't really something that interests me, but I love science. So I said, hey, why not give this a shot? And I ended up really loving it a lot. And the people were very nice too.
Oh, good. Look at you expanding your horizons. Good for you. All righty. And Finn, tell me about your MTRP Eco Ambassador internship.
So I just finished it like a couple of days ago.
And what kinds of things did you do in it?
We got some presenters to come to the Eco Ambassadorship at Mission Trails.
And then what do they present on?
a lot of stuff like soil, fire,
Oh,
and
okay. And then I understand you did a 5-minute presentation about a native plant. Do you remember the plant that you spoke about?
oh yeah, a California subflower.
Oh, neat. So all of you have been with Dimensions for more than a couple of years. Can you tell me a little bit about what your educational journey has been like, maybe compared to some of your friends? Like, what keeps you here? What are you enjoying about being enrolled in a charter school that supports your homeschooling and your interests?
Well, I'd say that you have the option to be able to have online classes or go in person. I like having the option because personally, I really like being in the classroom, but sometimes I can't necessarily. So, having the option to be able to have online classes is a huge help, and working from home with your parent is definitely great.
And do you have any siblings?
I have two that are also in Dimensions and one that's going to be joining in the next year or so.
And do you ever do any studying with them, any projects with them?
Um, I'd say that I'm too far apart from them to be able to do that stuff with them. So I haven't had the chance to like do group projects with them.
So are you older than them or younger?
I'm older than them. I'm the
Okay.
oldest.
Do you ever do any mentoring with them or any teaching or helping them with their work?
Yeah, so whenever a parent isn't home, I become like the teacher tutor, and whenever they need help with their math or their English, I guide them to the right path and teach them how do you multiply this number? How do you divide 8 into half? Cuz they're starting to do maths and stuff. So I do become one of the little mentors for my siblings.
That's great. That's a great little learning ecosystem. How about you, Amelia?
So for me, I'd say also backing up Izzy's perspective on the online and in person, because I also can't necessarily be in a classroom all the time due to my parents' jobs. But I do really like the flexibility, and on top of that, I also ride horses. So without homeschool, I would not be able to do my extracurricular activities and sports that I really love to do.
What kind of writing do you do?
I do English hunter jumpers. I've done a little bit of eventing. It's really fun. And it really involves a close connection and partnership with your horse.
Hmm. How many hours a week do you get to do that?
Oh my goodness. I would say I spend at least 3 hours at the barn every single day.
Oh, good for you.
Yes. So it's a full-time commitment, but I really enjoy it, and I honestly wouldn't have it any other way. And really, when I was in public school before homeschool, it did not allow me to do that very often. And I always begged my parents. I really wanted to ride horses. I really wanted to own a horse. And through homeschool, I've been able to do that.
And now, what about your regular coursework then? Do you feel like you are learning what you would be learning if you were at a conventional school?
Absolutely. I think even more because you're focusing on yourself. You're not focusing on 20 other students in the classroom. And I think also I noticed a difference, whereas in a regular classroom, the teacher wasn't really paying attention to me. So I'd slip away with certain little things. And I was in third grade, so it was barely starting to become noticeable. But, like, for example, my multiplications did not get better until I came to homeschool because we got on that immediately. And now I can say I'm good with my multiplications.
So you were able to really target the areas that you needed the help?
Yes, absolutely. And that's something that I really appreciate about homeschooling.
Well, and it sounds like that was something that you were able to identify, which it always feels better, right? When you're able to say, I want to learn my
Yes,
multiplication instead of a teacher saying,
absolutely.
you have
Yes.
to learn this.
Yes, because now you want to do it, right? You're not being forced to do it. It's that will and that need inside of you that you want to learn, and that's very beautiful. Everybody should get the chance to feel that.
Yeah. Finn, how about you? How do you like to spend your time?
Well, I like the flexibility of being able to be home.
And do you have any siblings, brothers or
Uh,
sisters?
3 siblings, one
Okay.
older than me, 2 younger.
Okay. And do you spend much time with them while you're at home?
I spent a lot of time with my 2 younger sisters. My other sister's at college.
Okay. And do you ever help your younger sisters with their work?
I kind of they sometimes don't really. Never mind.
They don't want your help?
Yeah.
Sisters. So what's next for you guys? You still have a couple more years, 2 or 3 more years. What other things are you hoping to do while you're enrolled at Dimensions and before you graduate?
I'd say that I want to continue just learning the things that I've currently doing, like all of my classes, my English, my geometry, my art, because so far I'm good with this. And I took a college class this summer, and it was an art class, and so I want to be able to do more of those during this school year because art is my passion, and I feel like doing more art classes, as many as I can, will help me succeed and have a goal for when I go into college.
Neat. Okay, so you see yourself taking the art into college or career more than you see it as being more than a hobby.
Yes.
All right. And Amelia, where do you see yourself? You're in 9th grade, so you still have this year and many more.
Yes, I have a little while, but I've started to think about what I want. However, for high school, it's really just getting all those experiences, internships to be able to get to college. I do want to continue and study and become a geneticist because I love genetics, I love science. And really just, yeah, the experiences and being able to enjoy being a kid for as long as I can, and homeschool really allows me to do that. I see it with my brother. He comes home from regular high school like 4 p.m., 5 p.m., and he comes home and he just goes straight to bed. He doesn't even sit around. We don't spend as much time as we did when we were younger. And that's something that I know he chose, but I really, really appreciate homeschool for that I don't have to spend 8 hours at school, doing what I would do in probably 3 hours at home.
Yeah, it sounds like you have the best of all worlds. You've got the rigor and the challenge, but you also get some fun time and
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that's what life is about, right? Just being able to spend time with your family. And that's really something that homeschool has allowed me to do. Like, I see my grandparents a lot more often. And I think we all know how important it is to see our grandparents. It's especially because they hold a very special place in my heart. And that's what homeschool has allowed me to do.
neat. And Finn, what is your fancy? How do you like to spend your time?
Well, I grew up Amelia with not having to go to school for like 8 hours and then have to do homeschool after that. That kind of stresses my brain out. So I like the homeschool flexibility a lot.
So to reduce the burnout, to be able to do all that, but without burning out. You're still learning the same things, but at a pace that works best for you.
Yeah.
What made you guys switch? Now, Izzy, I know you've been enrolled since kindergarten. So my guess is that was maybe mostly a parent decision on your part. Would you agree?
Yes.
And then, but now, Amelia, you've come in later. What made you say you wanted to give this a try?
Yeah, so my mom had met one of the EFs through one of my sports that I don't do anymore. I used to do ballet. And honestly, I think it was very difficult for me in public school. I would get bullied a lot. And I mean, I was only 8 years old. My mom felt that that was not necessary, that I should be able to do my school without being bothered by people, kids that really just were not nice, and it was a lot of drama. Um, and then, two, I also wanted to change. I know I was traumatized by one of my teachers because he got upset at me for not being able to finish a book at the same pace as other people. And that really stopped my love for reading. And I've been able to come back from that through homeschool, through wanting to read more and really enjoying books more.
Wow, that's great. I'm glad that you got to save that before you kept going on and thinking you were a bad reader or that you didn't like to read.
Yeah, and that's something that reading is like literally opens up so many more opportunities. You have to be able to read, And it was very, very important for me to be able to get that back. So I'm very glad that I did.
Oh, good. Anything else that you guys would like to share?
Well, for me, I've been going to this type of school since kindergarten, I think. I used to go to the Montessori school.
Oh, to our sister school, Community Montessori?
Yeah.
Okay.
And and we found this because COVID started at that time and I wanted more flexibility.
Okay. And it sounds like the flexibility is working well for you.
Yeah, it is.
So, one big question that always comes up, most always comes up, when people hear about somebody being homeschooled, they say, well, what about socialization? In what ways do you feel you are still building your social skills?
Well, for our school, we have the option to be able to go to classes and stuff. So that's one point for socialization. But I know that there are other kids that homeschool that don't go to classes and are just homeschooled, like their parents teach them and stuff. So I'd say going to internships, well, I can only think of for high schoolers, going to internships and doing extracurricular.
Like community centers, YMCAs?
Yeah, I'd say that's how I feel homeschoolers would get their socialization. But for us, being able to go to in-person classes and being able to connect with your fellow classmates or friends on teams, that's how we socialize, basically.
Amelia or Finn, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, so really for me, sports, and then we also have like team meetups that we had like earlier through the year. And those were really fun because we went and we learned how to do watercolors and we spent time with other teenagers, and we chatted, we talked about simple stuff like movies, and that's really cool because a lot of people don't get to have those types of experiences. And we also went bowling during school hours, so that was fun.
And so you're not having the bullying issues anymore, even though you're still out with
No.
groups of teenagers.
Right, and I think that's what's really cool about homeschool is I think we're a lot more chiller. We're not as not necessarily annoying, but how usual teenagers can be in public schools. And I mean, I've seen that through other things that I do, like public events that I go to, and I'm the same person. I make friends and stuff, but you can definitely see somebody's personality shine through. And I think homeschoolers were a lot more chill. I think also just appreciating the fact that we have homeschool And I think a lot of us aren't as burnt out as we would be if we were in public school, which really affects the personality.
That's a really good point. That's a good perspective. And Finn, what do you do to interact with other people?
Well, I go to the VEX,
The
VEX
robotics?
robotics
Oh,
class,
okay.
and PE, and also the Microsoft Team meetings. They help a lot with socializing with other kids my age. And
So it sounds like you guys are all getting multiple forms of interaction. You're learning the 21st century way of how to interact in a virtual meeting.
Yeah.
You're getting out in the communities and doing different real world things. That's great. Well, this has been wonderful getting to know you guys and the things that you're doing. Anything else that you'd like to share while we're together?
I kind of also just want to add to one of the first couple of questions. I really agree with Amelia, where being able to do your passion and your hobbies and doing things that you like, it really helps my passions being able to do art. If I were in public school and doing all of the classes and being in school for 5 million hours of a day, I wouldn't be able to be the artist that I am. Homeschool just like really helps create the character that you are, helps create your personality and being able to find your passions for things.
Well, that is just the perfect place. We'll just end on that note. As you can hear, these are three completely different students with regard to their interests, talents, and academic abilities. What they all do have in common is the desire and ability to get out of a classroom and engaged in real-world learning. These 9th and 10th grade students are having meaningful conversations about their learning, diving into areas of interest, and broadening their scope of learning on their own terms. Learning is not just doing. It is reflecting on what we do that teaches us the most. As evidenced by Amelia, students are able to recognize where they are falling short in academic skills. I know it may sound counterintuitive, but fewer formally taught lessons actually leads to higher caliber learners. Taking the time to target areas of need and incorporate areas of interest on the front end saves a ton of time, headache, and sometimes even tears on the back end. Guiding students to develop a strong foundation of academic and executive function skills, as our element schools do, sets them up for taking charge of their high school journey and empowers them to be comfortable with themselves, others, and learning. I was thinking recently of how much work I get done during school breaks. Why does it not bother me to give up hours a day to do work on days that are supposed to be time off? The answer? Because it's my choice. There's no pressure to meet someone else's expectations. It's just me having time with my thoughts, having time to go down research rabbit holes, having time to reflect, and having time to chill. So here is my challenge for you. Plan time in your schedule to just chill, to have time to do whatever you want. Don't plan what you are going to do ahead of time. Just block out chill time. And when that time comes, do what fills your bucket at that time. No strings. Don't worry about how productive it is or how there are other things you should be doing. And make sure the others in your home recognize that as your time, where you get to call all the shots. Many of you have likely heard of Genius Hour. What if you could have Genius Hours on a daily basis, like our guests of today? Where would your path lead? Each hour spent on exploring and reflecting on something meaningful to us is 1 hour closer to finding our element.